record your full names and surname.
Johannes Jacobus Venter.
Mr. Venter, you're still under oath. You have not discussed your evidence with anyone, is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. Mr. Otis, have you taken final instructions?
Thank you, Bishop. I have two aspects to sort out.
Thank you then. Mr. Malema and Mr. Ndlozi, you may be seated.
Thank you, Bishop. Colonel, in your second statement that's before this court as Exhibit D, D for David, in paragraph 6.3, you said the following. I noticed that it was Mr. Malema together with a passenger with dreadlocks who had been seated in the veto of Mr. Malema. Do you remember that? You can have it there, paragraph 6.3.
6.3.
Yeah. You say there, a passenger with dreadlocks.
That's correct.
That is correct.
What did you mean by dreadlocks?
Julle, julle ja, met dreadlocks bedoel ek, dit is nie, dit is hare.
Your Worship, by dreadlocks, what I mean, it's hair.
Soos mense verstaan die dreadlocks, jy kry lang dreadlocks.
As a person understands dreadlocks, he had long dreads.
Dit sou ek verstaan, lang dreadlocks.
Long dreads.
Maar meneer Ndlozi
But Mr. Ndlozi
het kort hare gehad.
had short hair,
Kort dreadlocks.
short dreadlocks.
Afraid, again, we don't know. So you say dreadlocks is long hair, but accused number 2 had short hair.
Julle, dreadlocks, jy kry mos verskillende lengtes.
Your Worship, you find dreadlocks in different lengths.
So, ek praat van meneer Ndlozi, Dr. Ndlozi.
So I am talking about Dr. Ndlozi.
So ek sal sê is kort dreadlocks.
As I say, the dreadlocks were short, it's short dreadlocks.
Now, I want to put you, accused number 2, Dr. Ndlozi, doesn't have dreadlocks. Do you have any comments?
En dan waar vir my,
here.
en dan waar vir my lyk dit soos dreadlocks.
Your Worship, for me, it looks like dreadlocks.
And you can see there's nothing tying his hair. Well, let me ask you, his hair today, is it the same as you saw it that day?
En dan waar ja, dit gaan moeilike wees om te kan sê presies.
Let me show you.
Your Worship, it is impossible for me to say whether it was exactly as the particular series.
That's correct.
Well, if you'd look at the photo album that we've handed up, photo number 5, you see the accused number 2, Dr. Ndlozi, in that photograph. Well, understand. Is that the hairstyle that you're referring to?
Dis korrek, heer Lagpare.
So
That is correct, Your Worship.
I want to put you, there's no dreadlocks in that photograph, sir.
Lagpare, ja, ek is nie 'n haarstylist nie.
Your Worship, yes, I'm not a hairstylist,
Vir my is dit 'n dreadlock.
but for me, it is dreadlocks.
And to put you, that's his natural hair and it's not dreadlocks. Do you have any comment?
Heer Lagpare, soos ek gesê het,
Your Worship, as I had said,
dit lyk vir my soos 'n dreadlocks.
it looks to me like a dreadlock.
And if you see him today, how would you describe his hair?
Volgens die foto en
According to the photo and
so daar sit,
as he's seated there,
lyk my dieselfde.
looks the same.
So we go back to the original question. You consider this hairstyle to be dreadlocks?
Dit lyk vir my soos dreadlocks.
It looks to me like or as dreadlocks.
I'm putting it to you, and the court can observe in the photos there are no dreadlocks in that photograph. So it is natural hair.
En Agbare, volgens my
According to me, Your Worship,
is dit 'n dreadlock.
it is dreadlocks.
May I have, I want to do one last thing with you. This is the video that you were using to explain, and you've seen it several times. Do you agree with me?
Dis korrek julle.
That
For-
is correct.
For the record on the screen here, I've got the gate camera. 4/14 2018, so it's the 14th of April 2018, Saturday. And the time depicted there is 15:46 and 48 seconds. Do you agree? Well, my learned friend will confirm if you can't see it. The court can confirm it's 15, 46 and 48 seconds. Do you see? Can you see that?
Ek hoor dit sê.
I hear what you say.
Right. Now, that's the car that you say was in the convoy. Those are the two BMW X5s. You see them there. Do you agree with me?
Dis korrek julle.
That is correct, Your Worship.
You accepted with no uncertainty whatever that's part of the official convoy. There's no doubt in your mind.
Dis korrek julle.
That is correct, Your Worship.
In fact, you even identified those X5s as coming from your unit. Do you agree with me?
Dit is van PSS.
They from PSS.
Which is your unit.
Protection Security Service.
Which is your unit.
Ek is PPS.
PPS. But I beg your pardon. So they're from PSS. You know those vehicles, and you said the one in front had a minister or deputy minister. The one behind was the following vehicle.
Dis korrek.
That is correct.
Right. Now, the way I understand that the video works is there are a whole lot of cameras, but they all work off the same computer, and we'll get the computer expert to explain this. They all work off the same hard drive. So if the time on this camera shows that time, then the time on the other cameras will be coordinated. Do you accept that?
Lagbare ja, so ek aanvaar dit.
Your Worship, yes, I accept that.
I'll be specific with you. So if you're looking at it in real time and somebody's monitoring all the different places, they can put on this. If there are four different cameras, they can watch them alongside each other, but they'll all have the same time. They won't have different times because it's one mainframe. Do you agree with that?
Ek glo so ja.
I believe so, yes.
Right. I've told you there the time. You see it there. Is 15, 46 and 48 seconds. Agreed?
Dis korrek.
That is correct.
Right. If you look at the photograph in front of you, if you look at photo number, it's A78, the one at the bottom that I showed you, you see the vehicle already stopped. Do you agree with me?
Dis korrek.
That is correct.
You're standing in front of the vehicle with your facing away from the vehicle. You don't have to look at other photos.
Ek just moet ek net right foto. Ja.
It's A7, page 8, the bottom one.
Page 8.
Ek is by die foto.
Right. Now, if you look at that photograph, you'll see that's a different camera. That's the Memorial Road camera.
Dis korrek.
That is correct.
That's where the video starts. So I can't go back further, unfortunately. But that's where the video starts. And you'll see the time there. You've already stopped the car. It's stationary. You're walking, you're talking, you've turned around, whatever you're doing. And the time depicted there, you'll see 04/14/2018 Saturday, 15:47:05.
Dis korrek.
That is
Right.
correct.
So it's a gap of seconds, sir. 17 seconds, and I can still see the BMW.
Dis korrek.
That is correct.
And you've stopped this car. We don't know how long you've already stopped it. Do you agree with me?
Ek het die voertuig gestop, dis korrek.
So
I
there's not.
accepted the vehicle, it's correct.
So you understand the logic. There's no big gap between that BMW X5 that was directly in front of the accused's car and this car. Here's at best for you, and I'm being polite because you can still see the BMW. I'll show you. Okay, so it's still running. We're on 15:46, 53, 54. I'm going to let it run in real time. And you've stopped the car outside, and we've got the time here. Well, let me pause exactly there. Right. 15:47:05. Here's your photo, 15:47:05. How many meters is that gap, sir? Between those two.
Van die voertuig tot daai voertuig hier al, julle agbare?
Sorry.
Van die BMW na die voertuig toe.
From the BMW to this vehicle,
As ek kan skat, is seker so 30 meter.
if I can estimate, it's approximately 30 meters.
And it's still here. Look, that's exactly at that precise moment, 15:47:05. Here, you've stopped the car. There's the other car. You've stopped it. You've made it stop already. It's not like you're in the process of stopping it and there's a distance of 30 meters on your estimation. They were part of the same convoy and you know it, sir.
Julle Agbare, soos ek gesê het, hulle was nie deel van die konvooi gewees nie.
Your Worship, as I had stated, they were not part of the convoy.
What was the difference between them in time? There you have it, black on, well, not a picture with a picture, sir.
Soos ek gesê het, Julle Agbare, die voertuig was nie deel van die konvooi nie.
As I had said, Your Worship, this vehicle was not part of the convoy.
On what basis do you say that? I've heard it so many times. Just justify it, please.
Die laaste voertuig van die minister wat ingegaan het, dit was die laaste voertuig ingekom het vir die konvooi.
The last vehicle of the ministers that entered, it was the last vehicle of the convoy that had entered.
Colonel, on your own evidence, and also at your you had no list of what a convoy comprised.
Dis korrek.
That is correct.
That wasn't the last vehicle. The accused vehicle was part of the convoy, and you know it.
Julle Agbare, soos ek getuig het,
Your Worship, as I testified,
as ek kyk op die foto, is daar 'n wit papier, 'n wit kenmerk op die venster.
there's a white paper, a white like mark on the white mark or paper showing there the windscreen.
Soos ek getuig het, ek het nie die sigbare permit gesien nie.
As I said, I did not see the visible permit.
Colonel, I don't even know what you're trying to answer. So I'm not going to repeat it all the time. I said I'm going to be short. I really am not, okay? You've had every opportunity. What I want to put to you, sir, is you know the protocol. So if you've got the leader of the EFF officially invited, he has to have his own security and his own driver and his own vehicle. Do you agree with that?
Dis korrek.
That is correct.
He can't jump in with the minister. We've seen the whole debacle now about the trip to Zimbabwe where there wasn't permission for each individual person. This is similar. Each person has a dedicated vehicle with their own security attachment and driver. Do you agree?
Dis korrek, Here.
That is correct, Your
So
Worship.
what I'm putting to you is that vehicle that you see in the photograph was directly behind this BMW. In the front seat was a driver and the security, which is the correct protocol. Would you agree with me?
Julle Agbare, soos ek gesê het, wat ek in die voertuig gesien het,
Your Worship, as I said, what I saw in the vehicle
was die bestuurder,
was the driver.
dis toe ek die voertuig gestop het,
That is when I stopped the vehicle,
en Dr. Ndlozi links voor.
and Dr. Ndlozi left in front.
What's the correct protocol? The security would be in the front. Do you agree?
By ons eenheid is dit so.
In our unit, that's how it is.
They follow the same protocol. I know you might find it surprising, but they do. So they had a driver and a security in front. You've seen the security with the umbrella, you've identified him.
Dis korrek.
That is correct.
He came out of that vehicle. Do you agree with me?
Ek het nie gesien dat hy uitgekom het uit die voertuig.
I
I
didn't say,
did not see him alighting from the vehicle.
I didn't say you saw him. I said to you, he came out of the vehicle. Do you agree with that?
Dis korrek.
That is correct.
So I'm putting to you that the two of them were in the front of the vehicle and the two accused were in the back of the vehicle, and that you're lying when you say that you saw accused number 2 sitting in the front.
Julle Agbare, dit is wat ek waargeneem het.
Your Worship, that is what I observed.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Julius. State, re-examination.
Indeed, Your Worship. Sir, I'm still going to be on the picture that Advocate Hodes has showed you. Is that the accuser's vehicle on the picture?
Julle Agbare, ek kan nie sê of dit die voertuig is nie.
Your Worship, I cannot say if it's the vehicle.
Okay.
I think the state just have to be clear when asking the question because there's more than one picture.
Yes, Your Worship.
The pictures has been marked by the court as exhibit
Yes, Your Worship.
4 and it consists out of 7 pages.
Yes.
But just for easy reference, I was approached by the state and the defense in chambers, and the court was assured that they will remark all the exhibits to be appropriately. But in terms of the questions at this stage, for purposes of easy identifying to link the said picture to your question, Advocate holders have also asked with regards to the said picture and have referred to it as A7/8, the bottom picture on it. The court will then allow it to be aligned in terms of the marking as per the docket in this regard, so that we can easily identify and link the picture to your question. So the court will just prefer that you just use the relevant marking on the top right-hand corner of the said Exhibit 4. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. Okay. I am, as the court said, on A7/8 at the bottom, okay?
That's correct.
Correct?
In this picture, if this is the accuser's vehicle, where is the other convoy, police officers, traffic vehicles, where are they? Do you see them in the picture?
Glad nie.
Not at all.
The picture on the screen, you don't see, before I move on to the picture on the screen, in this picture that I'm showing you, do you see any convoy entourage? What I mean by that is, do you see any blue lights, vehicles with any blue lights, any PPS, any PPS vehicles anyway?
Op die foto wat ek huidiglik kyk,
On this photo I am currently looking at,
is daar geen blou ligte nie.
there were no blue lights.
En as ek kyk aan die regterkant,
And if I look on the right-hand side,
teen die muur is daar motorfietsse.
against or close to the wall, there are motorcycles.
Ek kan nie sê of dit metropolisie
I cannot say if it was Metro Police
of wat se verkeer motorfietser dit is.
Okay.
or which traffic regulating vehicles those were.
Okay. I agree we can't really make out what motorbikes that or identifiable marks there is. But in this picture, do you see any PPS, any police vehicle, any blue lights surrounding this vehicle?
Geen Julle
Thank you.
None, Your Worship.
Mr. Baba, can you just read the picture? I'm just playing it a bit back, Your Worship.
It is in order, you may do so.
Mr. Baba just played it a bit back, but I'll leave it there. I'll ask a question on this. All these vehicles that are entering, Mr. Holders, read out the registration numbers, which was visible, some of them. These cars, do you know who decides that these vehicles will be used at the memorial?
dra nie kennis nie.
I do not bear any knowledge.
Do you know who decides who's going to drive these vehicles?
Dis die beplanningskomitee.
Thank
It's
you.
the plannings committee,
Were you part of the planning committee, sir?
Glad nie.
not
Thank
at
you.
all.
Anything, Mr. Baba? Is this correct, that this is a X5 BMW?
Dis korrek.
That is correct.
For record purposes again, who does this vehicle belong to?
PSS, Protection Security Service.
PSS.
Look at the time, 15:46:05. Okay? Play, Mr. Baba. What does, we have watched it before, this is also a second BMW. Okay, it's moving. Pause. What does these two vehicles represent?
Hulle verteenwoordig PSS.
They represent PSS.
So dit is 'n konvooi karre van PSS van die ministers.
They are convoy vehicles of PSS of the ministers.
In the convoy, there is traffic in front, as you testified earlier, yesterday as well, and there is traffic, the last vehicle of the convoy. Is that correct?
Dis korrek.
That is correct.
Okay. After these two vehicles, is that the end of the convoy?
Dis korrek.
That is
Worship,
correct.
these are all obviously leading questions.
Beg your pardon, Mr. Houders?
These are all leading questions, it's quite clear, Your Worship.
Your Worship,
What?
it is quite clear, but it's not in dispute. It was testified before, Your Worship. So it's not something new that I am indeed asking, but I will rephrase, Your Worship, if it suits my colleague.
No ruling by the court.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you.
What does these two vehicles, when it entered the gate, sir?
Kan jy
Wat-
herhaal?
When these two vehicles entered the gate, what does it mean?
Dit is die laaste voertuig van die konvooi.
That it's the last vehicles of the convoy.
Okay. If that is the last vehicle that may enter the cemetery, what is the procedure with regards to this vehicle of the accused?
Die voertuig as hy by die hek kom,
The vehicle, when it arrives at the gate,
daar waar die voertuig staan,
where the vehicle is standing,
wat ons sou sien op A7, die onderste foto,
as we can see at the photo below A7,
A8.
A8, as the witness is correcting.
You meaning A7
A7 ja,
and A8, the last page?
the last page
Okay.
ja.
Witness is pointing the last. Can you just point again for the court? The court did not see. Thank you.
Okay, when you say that's the last page, it's actually not the
It's
last
not the last page,
This is
Your
the
Worship.
last page
That is
which
the
the
last
court is having. Parties in agreement?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Julle as ek mag,
If I should, Your
die
Worship,
laaste bladsy,
the last page,
A79,
A8.
A7-9,
That is correct.
dit is die hek
that is the gate
waar die mense sal afgaan,
where the people will walk.
nee, ry met die voertuig.
Thank you. The people will drive through with the vehicles.
Soos ek gister gewys het op die kaart,
As I indicated yesterday on the map,
die VIP guest parking.
the VIP guest parking.
I see you also testified that some of the people will come with buses from the stadium. I see there's a bus in that picture.
Dis korrek.
That is correct.
Where will this bus park, sir?
Van die busse was klein, was kort.
Some of those buses were short.
Daar waar daai karre afgedraai het,
Where those vehicles turned or the cars turned,
aan die linkerkant op daai pad het hulle parkeer.
on the left-hand side on that road, that's where they parked.
Okay. Can you proceed, Mr. Baba? To the summary. Just want to play to the assault while it's playing. Just going to go back to A7, sir, at the bottom.
Waar?
Okay.
The cars on the side here, sir.
Ek kan sien julle.
Can
I
you
can
see?
see your worship.
Why are the cars parked on that side, sir?
Die voorste voertuig,
The vehicle in front,
dit is die lijkswa.
it is the hearse.
Agter hom die wit karre.
Behind them, the white cars.
Dit is die mense wat langs die kus geloop het.
It's the people that were walking next to the hearse.
Dit is van die verskillende Suid-Afrikaanse weermagte gewees.
They were from the different sectors within the South African military.
Good. While we are waiting, the vehicle that you see here, sir, still on A7 at the bottom. The vehicle that you're standing next to,
Dis korrek.
Correct?
would this car, this vehicle in the middle, would it be part of the entourage here, where the hearse is?
Glad nie eerlik.
Not at all, your worship.
Why do you say that?
Want die lijkswa het parkeer
Because the hearse parked
en die Mandela familie
and the Mandela family
en die res van die konvooi het in beweeg.
and the rest of the convoy drove in.
Can you stop there, Mr. Baba? Can you just go back a bit? Pause. You can see a part of your boot. Stop there. The person in the umbrella, at that moment, what is he exactly doing to you?
So agbare, hy is besig om my uit die pad uit te stamp.
Your worship, he was busy pushing me out of the way.
Was he alone?
Op daai stadium ja.
At that stage, yes.
Before you continue, I'm just pointing there and moving back to the mic. Someone at this stage is pushing you, the person in the umbrella.
Dis korrek.
That is correct.
These officers that I just pointed there, what are they doing?
Hulle het net daar gestaan.
They were just standing there.
Okay. Continue. The person in the umbrella is in the middle between you and the accused number one, is that correct?
Dis korrek.
That is correct.
As Mr. Hoder said that he has his umbrella in one hand, is that correct?
Dis korrek.
That is correct.
What is he doing with his other hand, sir?
Soos ek na die video gekyk het,
As I watched the video,
sy regterarm is om my arm, my regterkant.
his right arm was on my side or around my
Regterkant.
right side.
What were you doing in that exact moment?
Op daai stadium is ek soos ek sê van balans af gestamp.
At that stage, as I indicated or as I said, I was being pushed off balance.
Ek heb voor dit as ek op die radio besig om met Wok te praat of Wok te roep.
Before that, I was busy contacting or I was talking to Vok or trying to contact Vok.
But I'm asking you, what in that exact moment with the accused number 1, with the person in the umbrella in the middle and you in front, what were you doing that exact point?
Ek is vorentoe gestamp.
I was pushed forward.
Did you do anything?
Ek het op geen stadium nog enigiets gedoen of gesê nie.
I at no stage did anything or said anything.
Continue. Stop. We can now clearly see that the 2 constables is approaching.
Dis korrek.
That is correct.
What are the rest of the members doing?
Hulle staan en kyk.
They're just watching and looking.
You can see clearly here. You must tell me if you can't see. That accused number 1's hands are up.
Dis
Is
korrek.
that correct?
Dis korrek julle.
That is correct.
You can see that constable's hand is up as well. Is that correct?
Dis korrek.
That is correct.
Her hand, sorry, by the mic. Her hand is by accused number 1. Do you see that?
Julle
Your Worship,
net toestemming om
Can
nader
you
te staan asseblief.
permission just to go closer.
Your Worship, may I use my colleague's mic? Or stand on that side, Worship? Thank you, Worship. Thank you. I'm just pointing so that I can just move back to the mic, sir. Okay?
Can you clearly see now, sir? Thank you, Mr. Venter. You want the question to be repeated to you?
Okay. You clearly see accused number 1's, both his hands is up. Is that correct?
Dis korrek.
That is correct.
You see the constable that I pointed, her hand is now going to accused number 1's body
Dis korrek.
That is correct.
in the midsection.
Dis korrek.
Correct.
We can't see you, unfortunately, on that side, nor can we see the person in the umbrella.
Dis korrek.
That is correct.
Good. Continue, Mr. Baba. Pause. Little bit back. Little bit. Just you jumped. Back, Mr. Do you want to open? Okay, play, Mr. Baba. Leave it there. Leave it there. Stop there, Mr. Baba. You clearly see a person coming around. Is that correct?
Dis korrek.
That is correct.
And according to your testimony, you said accused number 1 was sitting at the back in the
correct.
vehicle.
That is correct.
Continue. Stop there. Mr. Baba just went a bit. Mr. Baba. What is that person doing, sir, that I just showed?
Ja, achtbare, op daai stadium
Your Worship, at that stage,
was my rug na hulle toe gewees.
my back was towards them.
What do you see?
Ek sien sy probeer hulle stop.
I see she is trying to stop them.
Okay. You also clearly see that her other colleague is on that side. It seems she's more closer to accused number 1, and I see there's also a leg there, and it doesn't look as if it's your clothes. You had camouflage on. So, do you know at the time what she was trying to do?
Ongelukkig nie my achtbare.
Unfortunately not, Your Worship.
But you clearly see the one constable hand is up in a gesture like this.
Dis korrek.
That is correct.
What does that gesture mean to you?
Dit beteken sy moes vir hulle gesê het, hou op.
Sorry? Herhaal asseblief.
Volgens my het sy vir hulle gevra of gesê, hou op, stop.
According to me, she was asking them or telling them to stop.
Is it correct at this point, the only 2 constables that came to assist were those 2?
Daai stadium dis korrek.
At that stage, it's correct.
It's in the video. Your Worship, it's in the video footage, Your Worship, but be that as it may, I will
Say,
request.
what do you see in the video? Don't put it to him what you see in the video. Let him say what he says.
Please the court, Your Worship.
Can I just have order? I'm not going to allow a
Yes,
debate
sir.
between the defense and the state. So I know we have swapped podiums, but can we just have order and not a personal debate so that there can be a court ruling at the end of the proceedings?
Indeed, Your
Yes,
Worship.
Your Worship, I'll use this microphone. What I'm saying, Your Worship, is the correct way to examination is to ask the witness what he sees, not put to him what you see and let him confirm it. It's incorrect to respond.
May I reply, Your Worship?
Just as soon as Mr. Oda sits, you may reply.
Thank you, Your Worship. Your Worship, my colleague was previously asking the same questions, Your Worship, and that is not in dispute, Your Worship. He asked it and he's confirming, Your Worship. The point that my colleague reached previously, Your Worship, he was more on the version of the complainant side, Your Worship. So this is really not in dispute, but I will rephrase, Your Worship.
Whenever you say rephrase, then you are putting the court in a position not to make any finding
It's-
concerning such, so I will allow them to rephrase and make no ruling in this regard.
It's court pleases, Your Worship. We stopped with, explain again the last time, what does the hand gesture like this mean to you?
My beteken dit
To me, it means
dat sy vir hulle gesê het,
that she was telling them
hulle moet stop en hulle
they,
ophou.
they should stop.
What was the other military doing?
Die mense, hulle het net gestaan, hulle staan net.
They were just standing, merely standing.
Play, Mr. Baba. I want you to go back. You're playing too fast. You're playing too fast.
Bishop,
Stop,
can I just
stop.
explain to Mr. Robert how that it's slowly?
Go.
Thank you. The court will allow you to approach.
It's Mr. Baba's TV, Your Worship. Just go back.
Wait to do it slow. Keep it. Just on the pause button. So that's the first one. Thank you, Bishop.
Thank you, Mr. Otis.
We've dealt with that issue. And press play. Okay. Stop there. Okay. We've dealt with that hand gesture. Okay. There we go. Come stand beside Mr. Otis.
Mr. Otis, it appears that your services are required.
you can start, it's fine. Just let it play normally. We've dealt with that issue. Slowly. Okay, we've dealt with that. Continue. Okay, we've dealt with that. Stop with that. Stop. Okay. Just what are you currently doing in the video footage, sir?
Ek het terug beweeg van die kant van die voertuig.
I was moving back to the side of the vehicle,
Van die kant af na die voorkant.
from the side to the front.
Don't play. Eh? What is this constable doing? What is she doing?
Your Worship,
As ek na die video kyk,
when I watched the video,
dit lyk of sy met hulle praat,
it looks like she was talking to them,
want ek het haar nie gesien nie en ek het ook nie gehoor wat sy sê nie.
because I did not see her and I did not hear what she was saying.
Where do you see accused number 1 in the footage?
Julle waar agter my?
Your Worship, behind me.
What do you see here? I'm just going to point for you, sir. Can you see?
Ek sien meneer Malema se hande vorentoe.
I see Mr. Malema's hands towards the front. The witness was making a hand gesture, Your Worship.
You can what do you see here?
Links bo in die hoek sien ek die rooi sambreel.
Sorry,
Links bo
top left,
die rooi sambreel.
the red umbrella.
And who was having that red umbrella?
Nadat ek die video gesien het
After I had watched the video,
en ek ingelig is
I was informed
in die hof
she had caught
dat dit is die close protector
that it was the close protector
van meneer Malema.
of Mr. Malema.
Continue. Stop. What is this person doing? Behind the behind the constable.
Your Worship,
Dit is agter my rug,
it was behind my back,
en as ek op die video kyk,
and when I do look at the video,
kan ek sien dat daai persoon
I can see that that person
probeer Malema keer.
is trying to reprimand Malema.
No, not reprimand.
Block.
Okay. Do you see the accuser's face?
Ek sien dit.
I see it.
Can you explain to the court what you see there?
Ek sien meneer Julius Malema se gesig.
I see the face of Mr. Julius Malema.
What demeanor do you see? What demeanor do you see?
Wat?
What demeanor do you see on his face? What demeanor do you see?
Die gesigsuitdrukking
So his facial expression
is aggressief.
is aggressive.
Continue, Mr. Baba. Stop, Mr. Baba. What do you see there, sir?
Dis 'n persoon, ek is een van die konstabels wat saam met my gewerk het daar,
It's a person, the constables that were working there with me,
wat haar hand uitgestrek hou
her hand is stretched out
na Dr. Ndlozi.
towards Dr. Ndlozi.
Accused number 2. Continue, Mr. Baba. Stop just there. What is happening there, sir? What do you see on the footage?
Sy sê dat Dr. Ndlozi dan vorentoe storm
I see Dr. Ndlozi charging forward.
En dat die konstabel haar hand uitsteek
and the constable is stretching her hand out
om hom te keer.
to block him.
Continue, Mr. Baba. Slow mode. No. Stop just there. What is accused 2? Can you tell the court what do you see with regards to accused number 2 now?
Dat Dr. Ndlozi nog steeds vorentoe kom.
That, sorry,
Dat Dr. Ndlozi steeds vorentoe gaan.
that Dr. Ndlozi is still going forward.
Continue. What is accused number 2 doing?
Dat meneer Malema nog steeds daar staan, hy praat, hy skree.
Mr. Malema is still standing there. He's screaming. Is that what he's saying here?
Dis korrek.
Correct.
I'm asking accused number 2.
Kies nummer 2 is Dr. Ndlozi,
It's Dr. Ndlozi
wat tussen die twee konstabels deurgaan
who is getting in between the two constables
met sy vinger gepoint na my toe.
with his finger pointed towards me,
What?
as the witness was doing, Your Worship,
Met aggressie.
with aggression.
What are you doing, sir?
Op daai stadium eerwaarde,
At that stage, Your Worship,
ek het nog steeds probeer om die bok te kontak
I was still trying to contact VOC
om hulle in te lig oor die situasie by die hek.
to inform them about the situation
By die hek.
at the gate.
What is the military doing?
Die militêre mense staan nog steeds net daar.
The military people are still standing just there.
Play, Mr. Baba, understand? Stop just there. What do you see, sir? What with regards to accused number 1 and 2?
Ek sien nou meneer Malema
I see Mr. Malema
en Dr. Ndlozi
and Dr. Ndlozi
nog steeds aggressief
still aggressive,
op my afstorm.
charging towards me.
Continue. Stop. What is accused number 1 doing and accused number 2, sir?
Dr. Ndlozi
Dr. Ndlozi
het my daar gestaan.
het daar gestaan,
Ek het my gestamp.
pushed me,
En meneer Malema
and Mr. Malema,
sy hande is ook reg om my te stamp.
his hands are also prepared or ready to push me.
What are you doing in the footage, sir? What did you do?
Ek het stil gestaan
I was standing still
soos die video wys
as the video is indicating,
met die radio in die hand.
with the radio in the hand.
Continue, Mr. Baba. What is happening there, sir?
Daar is ek van balans gestamp deur Dr.
There,
Ndlozi.
kan u net 'n kort sin asseblief sodat ek ook kan talk?
Ek is daar van balans gestamp
There I was pushed off balance
deur Dr. Ndlozi
by Dr. Ndlozi
en meneer Malema.
and Mr. Malema.
Continue. Stop just there. What is the person in the umbrella doing?
Hy loop die persoon se bril
The person with the umbrella
is agter meneer Malema
is behind Mr. Malema,
en hulle beweeg saam vorentoe.
and they again going forward together.
What else do you observe the person in the umbrella is doing?
Hy se hand op die skouer van meneer Malema
He has his hand on the shoulder of Mr. Malema,
en dit lyk of hy die sambreel laat sak het.
and it looks like he was dropping the umbrella, or it
Continue.
looks like he was lowering the umbrella.
What is the rest of the military doing?
Die weermaglede het nog steeds net daar gestaan.
The military members were still just standing there.
Before you play, Mr. Baba, just between not completely between accused number 1 and the person in the umbrella. Do you know who that person is that I've just pointed to?
Dit sal die dames wees wat saam my werk.
Your Worship, it will be the lady that was working with me.
What do you see her doing?
Dit lyk of sy hulle probeer keer.
It looks like she's trying to block them.
And the other constable on the side of accused number 2?
Lyk ook asof sy hulle probeer keer.
It also looks like she's trying to stop or block them.
The military guy that is close to you, what is he doing, sir?
Soos ek my balans verloor het en teen hom geval het,
As I lost my balance and fell against him,
dit lyk toe sy hand asof hy hulle sê stop.
it looks like his hand, he was saying to them, stop.
Continue, Mr. What is happening there? Pause. What is accused number 1 doing?
Hy is nog steeds aggressief met sy vinger in die lug
He is still aggressive with his finger in the air,
en hy het nog steeds gepraat.
and he was still talking.
En ek kan nie sê wat hy gesê het nie.
And I cannot say what he said.
The person in the umbrella, what do you see there?
En sy hand is nog steeds op die skouer van meneer Malema
His hand is still on the shoulder of Mr. Malema,
en die sambreel is gesak.
and the umbrella was lowered.
What is happening with you at that moment?
Agter op daai stadium is ek heeltemal van balans af.
Your Worship, at that stage I was completely off balance.
Continue. Pause. What's happening there?
Agbare,
Your Worship,
nadat ek die skuld wat hy sê agter die weermag lid is en die skuld wat hy sê,
Your Worship, after I was pushed, or I had landed as I was being pushed on there against the member of the military and against the guardhouse,
het ek vorentoe beweeg.
I moved forward.
Meneer Malema
Mr. Malema
het nog steeds na my toe gekom.
was still coming towards me,
Continue.
En die sambreel is nog laer af.
and the umbrella is still lower.
Continue, Mr. Baba. What's happening? Pause. What's happening there?
Die sambreel is heeltemal gesak
The umbrella is completely lowered,
en meneer Malema en Dr. Ndlozi
and Mr. Malema as well as Dr. Ndlozi,
is nog steeds besig om met my te stoei daar.
they were still busy there to
Te stoot.
push me. The first word was that they were still busy to wrestle me. Am I correct, Your Worship?
Dus ja, so te
Ja.
stoot.
And then you can you just repeat
Just
what you answered?
repeat, the court do not want to interpret in this instance, so if there's a problem with interpretation, it must come from the defense and the state objecting to it, so the court can only then correct the interpretation, but the court is not going to interpret, the court should be unbiased and not take any sides in this regard. So just repeat your answer, sir.
Waar is sambreel is gesak
The umbrella was lowered.
en Dr. Ndlozi en meneer Malema is nog steeds
Jammer, kan ek.
Dr. Ndlozi en meneer Malema is nog steeds daar teen my.
And Dr. Ndlozi and Mr. Malema were still there against me, as the witness is saying.
Okay. I'm not here to mislead the court. Who is this?
De persoon links agter, dit is Dr. Ndlozi.
The person left at the back is Dr. Ndlozi.
Okay. Do you know what he's doing? Will you be able to tell the court?
Ek kan nie vir die hof kan sê nie. Nee, dat.
I cannot tell the court no.
Continue, Mr. Baba. What is happening there? Stop.
Yeah.
Agbare,
Your Worship,
Op daai stadium soos ek vroeër gesê getuig het,
Your Worship, as I previously stated or testified,
was ek reeds daar in skok geweest.
at that stage I was already in shock,
So ek kan nie sê
so I cannot say
wat presies daar gebeur het nie.
what exactly was happening there.
Continue, Mr. Baba. What are the accused doing? No, play, Mr. Baba. What are the accused doing?
Beskuldig nommer 1 en beskuldig nommer 2
Accused number 1 and accused number 2,
Stop.
is nog steeds besig om te raas en te skree daarso.
they are still busy there to make a noise and to scream there.
Continue. Stop. Play a little bit. What is this constable doing?
Jou agbare,
Your Worship,
dit lyk vir my dat sy tussen
it looks to me as if she was between
meneer Malema
Mr. Malema
en die close protector.
and the close protector.
Continue. What is that constable doing?
Jou
The same,
agbare,
the same constable that you
Your
talked about?
Worship,
dit lyk of sy probeer om meneer Malema weg te kry van my af.
it looks like she is trying to get Mr. Malema away from me.
What is accused number 2 doing?
Dr. Ndlozi,
Dr. Ndlozi,
dit lyk asof hy daar met die lid van die weermag
it looks like there he is with the member of the military.
woorde verwissel het.
They were exchanging words.
Continue. What is the constable doing? You can play, Mr. Baba, it's in slow mode.
Constable probeer nog steeds
The constable is still trying
om Dr. Ndlozi weg te kry.
to get Mr. Ndlozi away.
What is accused number 1 and 2 doing now?
Meneer Malema en Dr. Ndlozi
Mr. Malema and Dr. Ndlozi,
het woorde daar met lede van die weermag.
they had words there with the members of the military.
Continue, Mr. Baba. What is accused 1 and 2 doing?
Meneer Malema en Dr. Ndlozi
Mr. Malema and Dr. Ndlozi
is nog steeds daar in woordewisseling met woordewisseling
they still had an exchange of words
met lede van die weermag.
with members of the military.
What is accused number 1 doing now?
Meneer Malema beweeg terug in die voertuig toe.
Accused number,
Mr. Malema is moving back to the vehicle.
accused number 2.
Hy is nog steeds in woordewisseling met een van die militêre polisie.
He is still in an exchange of words with the member of the military police.
Continue, Mr. Baba. What do you see accused number 1 is doing?
Meneer Malema is besig om die kar te beweeg.
Mr. Malema is busy moving. Kan u herhaal?
Terug te beweeg na die voertuig.
He's busy moving back to the vehicle.
Stop there, Mr. Baba. What is that person doing?
Daai persoon is daai persoon is besig om Dr. Ndlozi
That person is busy to Dr. Ndlozi
op sy bors om hom weg te kry.
on his chest, trying to get him away.
Continue. Stop just there. What is accused two doing now?
Dr. Ndlozi
Dr. Ndlozi
is nog steeds besig met die woordewisseling.
is still busy in an exchange of words.
Play, Mr. Baba. What is accused two doing now? Accused
Dr.
two.
Ndlozi het losgeruk van die close protector
Dr. Ndlozi got loose from the close protector,
en hy het weer vorentoe gekom
and he was again coming forward
en wat hy met 'n aggressiewe houding.
with an
Just a
aggressive
little bit back. Just a
manner.
little bit back. Small. Just a small bit. Please. Stop. Okay. No, play. Okay, play. We have dealt with that issue. Pause. Can you tell the court what do you observe here?
Julle agbare,
Your Worship,
ek kan sien dat Dr. Ndlozi
I can see that Dr. Ndlozi
aggressief is
is aggressive.
en dit lyk of hy weer wil terugkom daar waar ek staan.
It looks like he wants to come back to where I'm standing.
Continue. What is he doing now, accused number two?
Dr. Ndlozi is besig om
Dr. Ndlozi is busy too.
dit lyk of hy so op 'n stoeigeveg is met die lid van die militêre polisie.
It looks like he's in a half wrestling fight with the member of the military police.
Dis korrek.
What do you observe there now?
Dat Dr. Ndlozi nog steeds
That Dr. Ndlozi is still
aggressief.
He's still aggressive.
No, Mr. Baba. It's fine. What do you observe for accused number two now and the military police?
Dit lyk of die militêre polisie
It looks like the military police,
hom kalmeer het
they calmed him down
en hy vat hom om die voertuig na die om in die klim in die voertuig.
They're taking him to get inside the vehicle, around the vehicle to get inside the vehicle.
That's when you can play normally, Mr. Baba. It's okay. I'm done with the footage. You can go back, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, yesterday, questions were asked with regards to Ndlozi Mandela. And my learned colleague read to you the letter that she wrote. on the incident there, do you know anything that, or the whereabouts of Ms. Ndlozi Mandela?
Op daai stadium
At that stage,
weet ek dat
I know that
mevrou Mandela
Mrs. Mandela
was binne in die begraafplaas.
was inside the cemetery.
Did anyone contact you, sir, from the family?
Niemand het my gekontak nie.
No one contacted me.
On the day of the incident, anyone contact you?
Niemand het my gekontak nie.
No one contacted me.
With regard to the program of the late Winnie Mandela, my learned colleague gave you this program.
Dis korrek?
That's correct.
And he asked you, and he found it very strange that you have not seen this program. The contents of this program, did you know who was going to be guest speakers, who was going to speak, who was going to say anything? Do you know anything about the content of this program?
Geen inligting nie, Eerlagbare.
No information, Your Worship.
With regards to questions that was put to you with regards to AfriForum earlier, do you know who are the clients of AfriForum?
Do you know what?
Do you know who are the clients of AfriForum? Sorry, Your Worship.
Ja, Eerlagbare.
Oh.
Yes, Your Worship.
All of them, the whole organization.
Die kliënte van AfriForum.
Yes.
Die
The
kliënt,
clients of AfriForum.
Do you know all of them?
hulle is vir almal in die land.
They are from all of them in the country.
Yes, but do you know their names? Do you know who they are? Do you know who they represent?
AfriForum se bestuur of
Who the clients that they represent? You are a client of AfriForum, is that correct?
dis korrek.
That's
They-
correct.
They are your briefing attorney, is that correct?
Dis korrek.
That's
Okay.
correct.
Do you know all the clients that AfriForum represents?
Ongelukkig nie, Ela.
Unfortunately not, Your Worship.
Do you have knowledge of the Grace Mugabe matter that AfriForum is dealing with or dealt with? Do you know anything about that?
Ek het vandag al gelees, Eerlagbare.
I read about it, Your Worship.
Do you know, or is it in your knowledge? You've read about it, but do you know who they are representing in the Grace Mugabe matter?
Bishop, how is this relevant to this matter?
You-
May I respond?
Thank you, Worship. It is now relevant, Your Worship, when my learned colleague read out the vision of AfriForum and they are just representing a certain class of people, Your Worship. So that is where I'm going, Your Worship.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Thank
Call for the
you,
last
Your
question.
Is it in your knowledge, or do you know, that AfriForum is representing or is dealing with the Grace Mugabe matter?
Dis korrek, Eerlagbare.
That's correct, Your Worship.
Do you know who is their client in that matter?
Eerlagbare, ek dink dit is 'n kleerlingvrou.
Your Worship, I think it is a colored lady.
Do you perhaps know a name?
Ongelukkig nie, Eerlagbare.
Unfortunately not.
It is correct that you say that this is a person of color, this is a brown person. Do you know of the Senzo Mohia matter? Do you know who is AfriForum representing?
Dis korrek, Eerlagbare.
That is correct.
Who, sir?
Hy was die voormalige
It was the former
kaptein van Bafana Bafana.
captain of Bafana Bafana,
What race is he, sir?
As 'n swart man.
the black man.
No further questions, Your Worship.
Thank you, sir. You're excused.
Dis dit.
Thank you, sir.
Your Worship, we have agreed, Your Worship, with regards to dates, Your Worship. for further evidence. Your Worship, the dates that was agreed was 9, 10, 11 March, Your Worship, next year.
I confirm the arrangement, Your Worship, as we had confirmed with Your Worship in chambers during the lunch adjournment.
Your Worship. Your Worship, I will also ask that we will basically warn our own witnesses, Your Worship, for the next day.
The court would have directed. I am not going to warn any of the witnesses, and the date is too far. The witness may forget about these dates. So I would rather request that the witnesses be re-subpoenaed, that an official document where the dates is being given to the witness so that they do not delay the matter unnecessarily. And if the witnesses are not present before the court itself, the court wants the return of service of the subpoenas which was served on the witnesses to assess where the delays comes from in this regard then as well. Is there any other aspect which the court needs to know?
Nothing, Your Worship, on my part.
There's only one of the issues, Ms. Hart, you may approach. The court is returning the vision of every forum. It's not part of the evidence, so it may be returned to Ms. Holders. I have placed the exhibits also in order. Currently, the court have received Exhibit A, which is the Special Official Funeral Service Program. Exhibit B is a statement of Mr. Venter. Exhibit C is also a statement of Mr. Venter. Exhibit D is also a statement of Mr. Venter. And then the Exhibit E is also a statement of Ms. Mandela in this regard. Exhibit F is another statement of Mr. Venter, and then we have real evidence which is before the court, which the court have marked in the fashion of Exhibit 1. Exhibit 2, which is two aerial photographs of the gravesite in this regard. Exhibit 3 will be the memory stick of the video which was presented. The court will, however, receive, I am not sure with regards to such. Thank you. With regards to such, Exhibit 3, whether it is going to be the long or the short video which is being submitted, both can be received by court. The court will, however, receive the long video, preferable the long video in this regard. And the court will also direct that the long video be made available to the defense as being agreed upon. Exhibit 4 is also the forensic analysis of the CCTV, which is the photo album in this regard, which consists out of 7 pages. The court was approached by the state and the defense with regards to the list of exhibits. They will canvass the exhibits as well and make a list available to the court, which will be appropriately marked and numbered in this regard. The court have then agreed, as the court have indicated, that the court will take possession of the said exhibits. The court will, however, now hand over the exhibits to be kept safe by the prosecution in this regard. I believe Mr. Baba will be having the said exhibits in this regard and prepare it for the next court day. So the court is returning the said exhibits to be in possession of Mr. Baba. Mr. Baba, can you also just confirm that the court have given you the full record?
Thank you, Your Worship. I confirm the court has given me the full record together with the charge sheet. That will
charge
be
sheet is currently still in my possession. As soon as we postpone the matter, the charge sheet will also be handed over to you.
Thank you, Your Worship. I duly confirm having received the exhibits as noted on the record. Further, Your Worship, the video footage as indicated will remain in my possession as well, as the state will still be leading 3 witnesses on the next occasion. Thereafter, we'll be handing it formally into the record, although it is marked as an exhibit.
Thank you, Mr. Baba. Can I just get clarity? The proceedings will still be remaining in the current court which we are?
That is correct, Your Worship, as we want a continuous record of the proceedings in one court, Your Worship.
The The dates which we have reserved for the matter will be the 9th, the 10th, and the 11th of March. Is that correct?
Correct, Your Worship.
The diaries of all parties to be marked as follows, but court is only going to postpone it to the 9th of March. It will be rolled for those other days on the date in future then. Mr. Malema, Mr. Ndlozi, you may stand. This case is now being postponed to the 9th of March 2021, court number 13 for further evidence. Both of you, you are on warning and warned to appear at 8:30. If you fail to be at court or to remain in attendance until you are excused by the court, it will lead the court to issue warrants for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You are then excused from the proceedings. Thank you. Is the court book available?
Your Worship, if I may add, Your Worship, the court 13 book was being used in court number 6. We will get it to Your Worship immediately as you're postponing the other matters.
Okay, thank you. The charge sheet is to be then submitted to the prosecutor. Mr. Baba. I'll be in Mr. Ray's office. I will wait for the yes. Thank you. Court adjourned.
Just for us, what is part here, and then we take it from
Do you need my exhibit file to do it?
I think there should be a warrant for Madikizela.
She's not going to come back, no? You are boss.
Wait, ask him what time he worked till last night. What time did you work until last night? Tell it. Listen. I know you were with Jerome, right? Jerome, your commission. Tell me you worked hard, eh? They don't look after you properly in this place.
We need to sign the book before. You speak to him, not yes. You are coming to me.
We all need to learn and figure out if my information.
Not learn, she knows. We hope so. You must know that you're loved and that you're wanted here. We want you here.
Myself and advocate holders have been long in the profession.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. You have done far better than me.
Can I just say something? I agree with you guys.
Wacht een beetje. Hij is dan af hier voor hem, wat Afrikaans praat.
Okay, Wendy, I'm not from this class. The interpreter doesn't have I cannot confirm the next day. He knows the person. Something nice is being believed
I'm going to subpoena you.
You will no. I am not here under duress. I am not under duress. He had a nice day, so he had a
I remember correctly. Before I was only watching the so they can buzz it for me after, isn't it? Huh? Thank you once again, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much. Mr. Malema, Mr. Ndlozi, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm grateful to the way you handle things. No. You know what? No. The manner, the way your people handle themselves and all that was exemplary. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Unlike you with the video machine.
Hey, I never told you to follow about it.
12 months to live, 1 billion advocate holders.
Oh my God.
Excommunicated me from
Oh my God. Mr. Levin, thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Yes, sir. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow's another case. Tomorrow's another case, another issue, so it's fine. You know what? What people don't understand is,
Yes, sir. Are you coming to do sentence tomorrow?
no, it's easy.
Taste.
Listen, if you don't tell me.
Taste was great, huh?
Yeah. But remember one thing, acknowledge people, acknowledge people when they do a good job. Yet they control the people very well.
Of
They
course.
control the people
No,
very
no.
well.
Only problem I've got, I said, is the litter outside.
Yeah, no.
I've got a personal issue.
No, but listen, but
And the fact that it was drinking.
they keep scaring me. They keep scaring me.
You can say that.
You listen, Lawrence, it's not my fault if this man is a stud, okay? This guy, if he's a stud, you don't look at him. You can't do anything, I can't do anything about it.
Yeah, she exactly.
You can swap on it.
Something. First of all, thank you guys, because none of us got involved in this stuff.
Oh, no. I wouldn't dream of it.
How do you feel?
You're not sure. You're going to you might have listen, now you're going to get your revenge.
Why about postpone
You might
exactly
have draft the letter, insisted on it. What did you do?
No, I'm going to tell you why.
I'm telling you.
Not really
No.
Why postpone ngesikhathi esiyi-1 masekhathalele bese i-excuse yabo
Akile mara
I know what I'm
kibe confident.
Okay.
You know what?
Okay.
I'm going to use this gentleman on the
I'm not worthy.
Michelle's great. She's going to very well in the dream structure to tell you that.
But you know what to do something.
You know what you like here? I'm not going to be funny now.
I'm sorry.
But you know what?
It's really in your heart of hearts.
Tell you something.
Believe you care about black people.
Lawrence, you know me, you know my philosophies, you know what I stand for. I think nobody knows me better than you. Right? Yeah. You know what I'm
Understand that.
You know I'm not
When
scared.
did Lawrence
Now
say
these
that
dudes,
anything to do with
they're
race?
prosecuting one because they have to prosecute the white man. You know, they're prosecuting George Bezos' son. Brilliant, huh?
Well done. Thank you. Love you, my brother.
But listen, you know what's nice is, at the end of the day, right? Your plan is sending his client. He's not running away. He's at the end of the day knows that you know what?
Months.
These two. But they know you're doing your job.
The court, they're doing the court.
Exactly. And it's not personal answers we notice it. And you've got the cordial relationship. If every foreign they want, don't want them to be. The Constitution says about respecting everybody. That is why Zulzani said, wait for the fund, we're coming now.
Viva the Commander-in-Chief Julius Malema, viva! Hands off the Commander-in-Chief, hands off! Protect après forum, protect! Protect Venter, protect! Protect après forum, protect! Protect Venter, protect! Man down! Hey, two! Thank you very much, comrades. Ours is a very simple one. I will give it, let me give it to the commissar. We say to Manda! Away, two! Manda! Away, two! Mai buye! E Africa! Mai buye! E Africa! Awugibela phezu kwendlukatheni jabula masishaya amabhomu gibela phezu kwendlukatheni again Sean Makaba gibela phezu kwendlukatheni umama uyajabu jabula mama jabo umasishaya amabhomu jabo la mama Sean Makaba gibela phezu kwendlukatheni jabula masishaya Venter gibela phezu kwendlukatheni jabula mama jabula masishaya amabhomu jabula mama jabula masishaya amabhomu iagenda yamakapitale iagenda yamakapitale iagenda yamakapitale awuya bulala basebenzi anginiza makaba ya bulala basebenzi iagenda yama-nationale iagenda yama-nationale iagenda yama-nationale Atia bulala umntomnyama iagenda yama-nationale Atia bulala umntomnyama Atingene garage, Tati Pedro, Fishalembe. Atingene garage, Tati Pedro, Fishalembe. Mama ye, yo doa. Ate mama ye, yo doa. Awa abanye baitan, abanye baizon, iyefe. Ate abanye baitan, abanye baizon, iyefe. Ati zolo, yo ma. Awe Chio, Chio Makerela, Kuta, Kuta, Kuta Vasca Uchunya, Kuta, Kuta, Kuta Vasca Uchunya, Zanta Africa, Izelo Mama, Izelo Baba, Ayamapun, Atinza Africa, Izelo Koko, Izelo Kolo, Ayamapun, Atila Nabapono, Ayalemala, Patingelavo, Awakotwangeleto, Itila Nabapono, Awebayalemala, Patingelavo, Kotwangeleto, Atitulunga Kale, Winnie Mandela, Koni Iyefe, Awilowashai, Atitulunga Kale, Mama Nozamo, Atikoni Iyefe, Awilowashai, Atikoni Iyefe, Awileshayayo, Koni Iyefe, Awilowashai, Itikoni Iyefe, Awileshayayo, Nilokoni Iyefe, Awilowashai, Niyabasabana, Itina Kalamapungu, Sinagabasita Tapi, Esibindisika, Ausogutati Afrika. Abanizo Makaba, Abanizo Makaba. See people. Venter Matuta. Esibindisika, Agabasita. Baskatape, Basnige Zeruban, Helelema, from Cape to Cairo, Morocco to Madagascar, away from Cape to Cairo, Morocco to Madagascar, Batile Azania, Gisoleto, Solitata, Efe, Mata. I want you to tell the fighter next to you the reaffirmation of the position of the EFF. Say to the fighter next to you, we will attain economic freedom in our lifetime.
Siyathanda i-AfriForum. Thank you, fighters. You must always reaffirm the position. The message must always be clear. We will call on the chairperson of the province to welcome you here once more. Chairperson.
Command team of Gauteng and the regional leadership of all 5 regions. I can see here in front of the president that even the regional chairpersons of other regions except Johannesburg, they've been here even yesterday.